Welcome to STARCARD Podcast, where we're coming to grips with the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Breakaway Ray. I am your host. I thought teaching elementary school was challenging. Now I'm trying to teach spiritual science over the internet using tarot cards. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Today is May 13th, 2026. Let's share with you what's on the agenda. First, we'll be discussing the concept of work and leisure and social safety nets in the age of Aquarius. We'll be posing the question to the tarot world, what's up with the new society? Apparently, there's going to be no jobs, maybe many less jobs available around the world. We're all going to be encouraged to grow our own food. We're going to talk about occupying our own communities and making an adjustment as a new kind of human in a new kind of society. My name is Breakaway Ray. I'm all excited to tell you about this. Then we're going to talk about the social safety nets and what's economic stability look like in the year 2035? Well, we'll throw some cards. Now, I have 3 years written down. 1930 is one we would know historically if anyone was paying attention in school. 2026 is the one we're in now. And so if the tarot world can show us what those two timelines look like, we can anticipate and infer what 2035 is going to look like. After I'm done with all that, it'll be time for tarot for the audience, everybody. If you're tuning in live and you'd like a reading for the second part of the show, please check my instructions at the top of the chat. Type in all capital letters tarot, please. And in about 40 minutes or so, I'm going to check the chat for capital letters looking for tarot requests. But in the meantime, we're getting ready to start off with tarot haiku. I'm going to lay out the tarot cards like a haiku poem. And then voila, abracadabra, like magic, we're going to have a slice of wisdom delivered to us from the tarot world. So let's go to the tarot cam. Yeah, hold for editing. Okay, here I go. I'm going to set up the stage. One moment, please. That's going to work out nice. Well, today I decided that we're going to use the dark foil deck for tarot haiku. So this is also an unboxing video. I wonder how I can do this. Hang on. Oh yeah, we're getting better. I like using the obsidian sphere to block out my spotlight. Hang on. I had this right the other day. That works. All right, everybody. Let's get to the unboxing. This is what I call the dark foil deck. It's the Rider-Waite imagery. It's called Gold Foil Tarot. And like I say, this is one of them. I really dig the backing with the red color peeking out. It's got a couple of spare cards with nice messages, which I'm going to bypass today in the interest of time. As usual, tarot decks usually come with a guidebook. You can see the sun card on the front of that one. And here we go, everybody. These are the foil cards, a little hologram action going on, and they're very slippery. So I'm going to do the best I can. I got a new tabletop. I haven't tried the foil cards on the glass tile tabletop here. I'm going to give these a toss. And then let me explain what I'm going to do for tarot haiku for those that are new. So in haiku, in the English language, of course, haiku is a Japanese form of poetry. But in haiku in English, we write it out with 5 syllables on the top line, 7 syllables in the middle line, 5 syllables again in the bottom line. You can imagine how much fun we have in elementary school writing haiku poems. Because you have to be so precise with your words. It's a great exercise. But of course, haiku can be for children of any age. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to draw 2 cards for the top, 3 cards across the middle, and 2 cards for the bottom. I'd like to point out that during haiku, there's usually like a transition, where the scenery gets turned upside down or your perspective changes. I'm not sure how much we've seen that, but for sure, the tarot world is always ready to present a wonderful story, a slice of wisdom with tarot haiku. So here we go, everybody. The tarot world has been just as anxious as some of you out there for me to turn on the camera. So here we go. I'm going to set the tarot world loose. Here we go. Yeah. Tarot haiku, please. A slice of wisdom, probably based on some of the thoughts I had before turning on the camera, some of the things that we're going to present today. It's always a thematic kind of story, isn't it? All right, here comes the person you all tuned in to see, the tarot world. 2 cards across the top and the bottom. And then we're going to fan and cut our way to fill in the middle. Whoa. I think I'm going to have to adjust this placement. Does this work? Yeah, cool. Up top. All right. Wow, this card looks like it just wants to come out right now. All right, let's check it out. Are we all set to go? 2, 3, 2. It's tarot haiku. It's for entertainment purposes only. Wait, let me give it one more try here. All right, let's try it. First up, the King of Swords. I was thinking about this guy before I turned on the camera. I'm now getting to be a big fan of the King of Swords, because the King of Swords has the personality of someone who's sitting down and saying, hey, here comes the truth. It's like when the president of the United States gives a press conference. Okay, here comes the big story. What an introduction. Can you tell the tarot world is ready? Okay, let's hear it, tarot world. Hit me. The 5 of Cups. The disappointment card. Even on the dark foil card, the imagery looks so much richer with the colors and the texture. Wow. So we're starting right off with, tarot haiku. Hey, I hear there's been some disappointment, and that's obvious. Everyone can see there's hardship. Okay, let's keep going. The Wheel of Fortune. The 9 of Swords. This is a good one. Yay! And the Ace of Wands. What am I cheering about? Hey, I understand that there's been some misfortune. The Wheel of Fortune says it's time to take those anxieties and things that keep you up at night, the 9 of Swords card, and make magic out of them. So if you've been tuning in the last couple of shows, you know that the tarot world really wants me to talk about alchemy and transmuting energies. But anyway, looks like the tarot world wants to teach itself. It doesn't need me. So let's finish off the tarot haiku. Yeah, how about that? The 8 of Pentacles says it takes a lot of work. You really have to apply yourself. It's a daily practice. It's like taking care of your own health. But the fact is, as the King of Swords said at the beginning, here's the Ace of Swords. But that's the truth. All right. So just to recap, hey, listen, I know you got disappointments, but guess what? It's time to take all those things that you perceive as problems, turn it around, use some magic, practice it, because you're going to change your life in a positive way. You're going to have mental clarity with the Ace of Swords. Thank you, Tarot World. I'm so blessed, am I not, that I can do this and just throw some cards down and sound eloquent somehow. Amazing. I sound eloquent, but it's the Lover's card. I'm working with some friends. I got some cosmic love happening. That's the truth. Whoop. That's the truth. Okay, I'm going to give these a toss. Thank you, Tarot World. Every time It's so amazing. Oh yeah, I don't get to put these in the box until after I resort them. That happens after the show. I'm going to set these aside for now, but they look so beautiful. Let's stick them in the corner. Okay, what's next? Oh, all my notes. All right, let's go upstairs. Time out, please. One moment, please. Hey, I'm back. All right. So as the tarot haiku poem told us, I believe that I have, okay, remember, when I turn on the camera, I say a lot of things that when I turn off the camera, I think sound ridiculous. So if I'm saying things that you also think, that sounds pretty remarkable, I love your imagination, Breakaway Ray, that's why I tune in, okay? I'm right there with you. I'm just trying to have fun and do a good job. But I really think that the last few podcasts, there's been like a direction where I'm supposed to recognize even these tiny little problems, these little speed bumps and obstacles and challenges in my life, because I mean, they look tiny compared to what some people, many of you out there have to deal with. I realize I'm fortunate in a lot of my circumstances, but the point is, I think the spirit world wants me to illustrate that I took those challenges and I transmuted the energies, but I can't say that I know or understand or recognize what I did. So I'm not ready to do that yet. I want to separate what I did as far as transmuting energies, things I still need to observe and recognize and learn about. I want to separate that from karma that balances, whether, and especially if it's karma from a previous lifetime. As I say, you know, even though my mind torments myself, so it seems, so the tarot world seems to tell me, okay, that I think too much. Nevertheless, I'm blessed with circumstances that a lot of people would envy and be jealous of. That doesn't mean I didn't work for it. So let me give you an example of a blessing that I received that I'm sure the tarot world wants me to talk about. But again, when I turn on the camera, you're not missing anything. I'm like sorting all this stuff out on air, right? Because I ain't got nobody else to talk to until I turn on the camera, besides the tarot world. So, and nobody else would want to hear this stuff. I'm not going to tell the full story today, but there's these things called savings bonds. And keeping in mind that my grandparents lived through World War II, well, and World War I, okay, they valued savings bonds. It was a way to support the country, and it was a way to set money aside and earn interest. Well, savings bonds mature after 30 years. Here's the deal. Let's just put it this way. Our grandparents gave us some savings bonds, and the beauty of it was it enriched us, but not right away. So we already had like the blessing thought in our mind. We always knew we had the almost like a rain check, a money for a rainy day, something for college when we were ready to go there. You know, we had that sense of abundance and blessing, which was almost more valuable than the money itself, right? I mean, if that's really the way the world operates, if you feel blessed and you feel abundance, guess what keeps on cascading your way? Abundance. So, but again, I guess I'm illustrating my point. It's not actually the cash. It's not the currency. It's just the thought of the blessing. Nevertheless, those savings bonds did bless me. But you know, if I were to tell you the stories about how the different grandchildren use the bonds, you'd see like there's something to be said for Breakaway Ray's perspective. You know, I mean, because like once those bonds matured, I didn't say, woohoo, I'm going to take a vacation and blow it all. That's not the way it worked. It's not the way it worked. All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that as I hinted at earlier, I'm very sure that the tarot world set up some lessons about how I'm supposed to teach how to transmute energies like that. And I wrote this up, you know, you just quote unquote have to overcome. I mean, I know we all are face to face with like lots of things right in our face every day that, you know, we would rather not have there. And the deal is you have to overcome. And that involves apparently turning inward and restructuring the way you perceive the world. I don't like the way that sounds either, but remember what we were learning from our friends, the Pleiadians, in Barbara Marciniak's book, Bringers of the Dawn. This is an example from this book, which is, if someone comes up behind you and says, stick them up, I want your wallet, you have to say to yourself, wow, how am I going to learn from this experience? This is a real blessing. What a challenge. Thank the universe for sending this event my way. I wonder how I'm going to get out of this one. So I'm trying to qualify my comments. I look like a privileged white male, and in lots of ways I am privileged and may not identify and agree with people who are tuning in. At the same time, longtime viewers know everybody's got challenges, probably even Breakaway Ray. And maybe since he's got some disposable time and extra brain power, he can help sort out some things and give us some shortcuts, give us some cheat codes. There's lots of people on the internet who study this, their lifelong, and now I'm joining the party. Well, it's a free program and you get what you pay for. Let's see what happens. The Tarot world wants you to get this education for free. I believe in public education and free education. All right. So where was, I want to show everyone where we left off. Again, stuff we're not going to talk about today. I came up with this chart. There we go. I came up with this chart, this Venn diagram with 3 circles that represent, our free will, the purple ring, what is malleable, okay, but that also has to work within the red circle, the fixed timeline, what we're here to do, what our DNA has programmed us to do. But you can change your DNA. Nobody does because they don't think about it. Nobody tells you, okay, but you could do it because you have just as much access to the command center as anybody else. In fact, it's better if you do it. Why are you going to wait for someone else to activate your DNA, to act upon you with chemicals and with voice to skull technology and other kinds of frequencies? Why don't you do it? Okay. I would like to shout in quotation marks, wake up. Okay. You have control. How many times have we thrown tarot cards and the Emperor card always shows up? You're in control. You can make the decision. You know why we don't make decisions? Here's one theory. The Anunnaki programmed us to seek leaders who tell us what to do. Thanks, Anunnaki. Okay. Anyway, the other black ring on my Venn diagram has to do with other players, right? There's 8 billion of us on surface planet Earth. So all those energies got to mix. All those energies got to work with each other. Oh, yes, that reminds me, there's a good anecdote coming. You have to imagine the fun. One of my favorite things at the carnival, I never do this anymore, but, the bumper cars. Everyone picks a car out. You sit in the car, you're going to crash with a whole bunch of other people. The more people, the better, probably. And then, once the electricity gets turned on, woohoo, you get to drive and bump into each other. I always like that. But that's what it's like, isn't it? That's what we're all doing down here, apparently. Okay. So let me see. As many people know, I don't like to turn on the camera ill-prepared. There's a certain amount of spontaneity and let the cards fly where they may, okay? But at the same time, I got to have a framework. I wish I used a marker this morning because when I just use pen, it's hard to see. So I'm going to get my light fixed, come downstairs and make sure I share everything I have to say. I'd like to say it must be important because the tarot world the universe went to all this trouble to give me a studio, a voice, an audience, something to say. Yeah. All right. And it wakes me up at 2 a.m. All right. What have I got here? Okay. So we just talked about the bumper car scenario, the bumper car. Here comes an anticipatory set, everybody. The bumper car scenario. I have another analogy. And this analogy has to do with fender benders, car accidents in the real world. Not fun. So sorry to anyone who's had to deal with any. I've had, quote unquote, my share. But so I've been there. But anyway, what I want to say is, when the dynamics of the fender bender, someone bumps into somebody else, of course it's an accident. Okay. You exchange information and, you proceed and you get estimates for damage and you contact insurance. I mean, I'm just going to share right away. I don't like contacting insurance at all. I would just take it out of my wallet and bite the bullet, because what happens, I mean, this is my opinion. This is my impression. You contact insurance. Oh, they'll give you some money, but then you're going to be paying for it when they jack up your rates for the rest of your life. So anyway, back to the fender benders. Okay, so you've got it covered. You have the individual to individual, they exchange information. You have institutions involved. You have the law. You have insurance agencies. Okay, but now in the age of Aquarius, people are going to have to add the spiritual level to it. Come on, did you think your car accident was just an accident? Did you think it wasn't planned? Do you think it wasn't orchestrated? Okay. So some of us are aware of this already and some of us are not. So now I've got, like, again, you have the two people exchanging information, depending on where you are in the state where I live. Maybe the police shows up. Like, I know, like, if I'm in Los Angeles County, police might not show up. But if I'm in Ventura County, I'm going to see the black and white, the friendly police officers. I had an accident nearby my house, let's just say, and dude, they brought in a whole parade of emergency vehicles. It was awesome. I think I have like some video of it. I'd love to put it on the podcast, but I've had it for 2 months now, so don't get your hopes up. But anyway, I'm just giving you an example. So starting over again, person to person, let's sort it out. Peace officers, insurance companies, make sure the law is followed, make sure everybody's reimbursed for any damages, make sure nobody's hurt, for heaven's sake. I'm just talking about fender benders. I hope nobody gets hurt. Okay. But then now you have to add in the spirit world. So I wrote some dialogue here. One set of spirit guides speaking to another set of spirit guides. We had a car accident. So here's what I got here. This is what free will's like. Okay. One set of spirit guides talks to another set of spirit guides as they're exchanging information, right? We don't see it. It's the invisible world. Hey, your guy just crashed into my guy. The other team says, hey, I didn't know where your guy was going. I didn't even know where my guy was going. He doesn't even know we're here. So even teams of spirit guides have challenges. They're trying to follow the plan. They're trying to aim you towards your highest path. Meanwhile, some of us out there don't have a strong connection, especially here in the United States. Some of us don't have a strong connection to the spirit world and our higher self and our spirit guides. And if we did, anyway, maybe things would run smoother. All right, I'm using my imagination, right? I'm thinking about it. I just made everybody think about that now. I just made everyone think about an event in their life where, what were my spirit guides doing when that was going on? Were they just standing there like this? Let's see what he does. No. Okay. They're actively involved. Okay. So let me go on with my notes here. All right. So I'm going to share before I get to my economic discussion, I'm going to share an anecdote from my career as a elementary school teacher. I was in the classroom for more than 30 years. And, one of my favorite things is the parent conference. I know that there's a lot of teachers out there who would say, Breakaway Ray, you're crazy. Who wants to have parent conferences? Usually there's always a problem. That's why you're having a parent conference. Also, that takes up time. That is true. Takes up time. Anyway, there's an old expression, a stitch in time saves 9, meaning you don't have to make 9 stitches if you stitch something up right away. If you address problems while they're still small. I think there's another aphorism that will come to mind in a moment, another expression. Let's bite it off now while we can manage it. Let's not let it go. But anyway, so setting up the parent conference, again, I taught elementary school. When I met with parents and children, these children would be between ages 7 or 8 up to age 12 or 13. And everyone has room to grow, even the teacher. Sometimes I have to have a parent conference just to find out where I'm missing or misunderstanding the situation. I mean, because in general, I teach general ed. I'm presenting a lesson that in general, after years of experience, I can see works. So why am I not communicating with this particular student? Now, a lot of times students would be apprehensive about having to have a parent conference, with their teacher, going to school with their mom or dad, and now the teacher's going to tell them everything. So I agree with that dynamic. I agree with that sense of anxiety. But at the same time, I think all of us involved, at least in my case, we all relish the opportunity. I relish the opportunity to sit down with the student, with the parent there, so that we're all on the same page. It's a communication triangle, okay? Someone in the conversation is not redirecting the other party, okay? All parties are involved. I'm speaking about how clever children are. They might tell their parents one thing and the teacher a different thing. And then, well, when the teacher and the parent are sitting across from each other, we're comparing notes now. Oh, okay. Anyway, there's some, so you see, looking back upon reflection, I was able to accomplish a lot because I really am genuinely having fun with the family, right? And for most of my career, a lot of those parents were old enough to be my children. Some of them were in my class as students. So it was a very rich experience, that's for sure. I sure miss it. So I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back a little bit more. I got this feedback, not just from my own interactions with the community, but even from the very famous psychic Liz Cross. She confirmed these things. So let me see if I do have these written down. Yeah, I've had parents tell me this, that their kid wants to go to school. And that's like a big deal. A lot of parents would say, that is awesome. My kid doesn't always want to go to school. But no, when they were in Mr. Breakaway's class, they discovered that their child wants to go to school. Even when the kid is sick, they don't want to miss school. They don't want to miss it. Okay? Here's psychic Liz Cross's comment. She said that even kids who didn't care about school and their families didn't care about school, Mr. Breakaway, you made them care about school. So imagine that. You got a kid, doesn't care about school. All of a sudden he cares about school. There's something going on at school. And he's trying to get his parents and his family to buy in. He's like, hey, this is going on at school. It's important. School? We have to do something for school? And you got the kid now teaching the parents what's going on at school because he needs their help or she needs their help. I mean, that's kind of a beautiful thing, right? So yeah, of course I'm proud of what I did, but I enjoyed it. I mean, you could tell, if that kind of experience was something that all teachers had, yeah, that's why they love it, right? But you do have to put your time in. Okay, so I wanted to share that part. Okay, so let's talk about some of the dynamics of the parent conference. Okay, I'm trying to make my job easy. I'm also trying to deliver lessons that are age appropriate and appropriate for students' mental cognition and time appropriate. And as you can imagine, every year the pressures and demands changed. And those of you that are long-term viewers know that there were deliberate obstacles sent my way that I had to overcome, and I did. Okay, but anyway, so let's say I've got a student and I need a particular behavior modified, and it could mean working on a particular project, or it could just be classroom citizenship. Here I am, I'm working with the parent, but a lot of times what it boils down to is I'm presenting a situation where we can have an absence of negative reinforcement. Like, I'm the teacher. If I have to put this grade in the book, then that's the grade that we get. But also, I still have to ask the child to finish the work or learn the material, because you have to know it before you go to the next grade. So instead of doing all that work after the test, after the due date, we should plan our schedule so that we follow along with the school calendar and we get things done on time. There's a reward if you turn it in early, right? And then the kid will tell the parent, yeah, if you turn it in early, you get this thing. So it's not just an absence of negative reinforcement. There's something to work toward. There was some particular card I would give out in class that was actually it entitled kids to privileges because they earned them, right? So that was kind of a cool thing. If we're talking about a child. I don't care if the kid is 12 years old. I don't know what the kid's situation is, but once you get the parent on board, all of a sudden people start understanding what's going on. Also, when they walk out of there, right, as a team, they have a game plan. We've talked about dates. We talked about a family calendar. We talked about the assignment book that I'm trying to communicate to them with. After a while, of course, it was the internet. I liked the assignment book better because it developed communication between all three parties, the teacher and the parent and the student together, much better than just putting stuff up on a website and emailing the parent. That lets the kid sit back a little bit more and say, oh, I don't know, it's on the internet. Oh, I don't know, you talk to the teacher. Yeah. So let me make sure I've got everything covered there. Yeah, I guess I mentioned like there's a plateau, like if you keep up and you excel, and even if you just turn things in early, you get to a plateau where you start earning credits, right? Instead of like, oh no, I'm slipping behind. The teacher needs to help me. This feels like negative reinforcement. I like Mr. I like Mr. Breakaway, but I don't want to spend my time at recess doing homework. I should be doing my homework after school. I know, I'm doing the best I can here. So we have to combine all kinds of strategies to encourage kids to, number one, put out an effort, because as I keep trying to say here at STARCARD Podcast, you have to mix it up. You have to put yourself in a position where you're making decisions. Therefore, you're following your intuition, and then watch what happens, right? Because you got a whole spirit team trying to lift you up and aim you in the right direction, even if you're 8 years old. Okay. But then the other thing is I always had this point of view. And if I was speaking to an administrator like a principal, or even administrators from an office, okay, and I said something like this, they would be inwardly shaking their heads. But I would say, does a kid want to feel successful? Then they need to accomplish something. Okay. Accomplishment helps everyone feel like they've accomplished something that's genuine. It's real. Okay. So let me check my notes and see what I wrote here in ink and not in marker this time. What's up with that light? Okay. So accomplishments, that's actively doing something, exploring one's potential. Because when you're young like that, you got a lot more potential than when you're a grown-up, but that doesn't mean you don't have potential when you're a grown-up. Okay. The show ain't over. Did you wake up this morning? You got time. You got potential. Okay. But what I didn't like was the sense where I felt like people were trying to bully the teacher into worshiping the child. Okay. In the real world, society doesn't worship the individual. The child, the individual, the adult is not entitled to everything. Okay. And by the way, how are we helping the child grow? Things that happen in elementary school are so small and so tiny, and they're so small scale, and no one ever has to hear about it. And if you recognize like you got a tiny problem with turning work in on time and it's an easy fix, you could do it now. Imagine how hard it is when you're in middle school or high school and you still got this thing and the teacher was too scared to talk about it because you might throw a tantrum, okay, and say, oh, you don't like me. You always pick on me. So there was a fine line we had to balance all the time. All right, what's the moral of that story, that anticipatory set about the parent conference? Everybody's rooting for you, student, okay? And when we set up situations where there might be a challenge, these challenges are here to help you grow and learn so you're better prepared to handle things as you get older. Did that sound like my spirit guide talking to me? Okay, let me see what else I've got on my paper. Okay, now I'm allowed to get angry. I'm going to be talking about former United States President George W. Bush. Okay, so I'm going to start off there. Just about every decade, everybody, we have some kind of a economic disaster around the world, or certainly here in the United States. George H.W. Bush had the savings and loan scandal. George W. Bush had a stock market crash, and then he had a real estate drop. But he kind of like, I'm going to just say it, he set up a poison pill economy for Barack Obama. Barack Obama came up with the TARP funds, which is just another example of how we take taxpayer money so we can fill the pockets of the people that stole from us, these oligarchs and these people that are skimming off the top all the time, because that's how it's all set up. Okay, what do you think the stock market is? All right, so what I want to get at is George W. Bush. I'm not going to say he was any kind of brain surgeon. He was president when we had a stock market crash, And then after the stock market crash, I still remember this and it still bothers me. After the stock market crash, he came out like some weeks later, maybe a month or so later. He's all right, everybody, that's behind us. I want to encourage everyone. I'm not even going to do an impression of the guy. I want to encourage everyone to reinvest in the stock market. Okay, now, someone like me who doesn't spend money that I don't have, okay, I don't understand what that grown up who supposedly went to elementary school and understands math, okay, I don't understand what he means by that. Some people put all their money in the stock market, or a good portion of it, or an important part of it, okay, and that money is gone. Is the president of the United States telling us all to bet on margin, to borrow money and start a mortgage of sorts so we could pay back a loan in case that fails as an investment as well? Why are you doubling down on debt for the individual? Anyway, one of the dumbest things I ever heard. But at the same time, he was doing that, same administration, George W. Bush wanted to privatize Social Security. Social Security is a safety net in the United States that people pay into. People have already paid their dues. So what you're really saying is, that fund that you've been paying into that no one's supposed to touch, that's supposed to protect you and help you when you're no longer working, okay? Well, we want to put it in the market so that some guys can play with it and, they'll collect some money whether they win or lose. But that doesn't guarantee that you're going to have your Social Security anymore, because we're going to play with it on the market. We're going to invest it. We're going to privatize it. Dude, this stuff has been going on since the 1920s. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the regulations. I didn't prepare my speech today to discuss how, all the regulations have been undone and what they were there for in the first place. And like we're repeating, making laws that we already had. And, President Clinton, you got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act. That was a big deal. That really set the stage for George W. Bush to set up his poison pill economy. We're still dealing with this stuff. But anyway, the good news is that back in 1992, the Pleiadians in Barbara Marciniak's book, Bringers of the Dawn, said, hey, good news, all these institutions are going to collapse anyway. All of them. They're all going to collapse. So what I'm getting at is we may pay into Social Security. We may even have separate investments. We may pay into a separate fund, as I did when I was employed as a teacher, okay? But all those things, look on them, they're like all set up on digital accounts. And one EMP, bing, bang, boom, nobody's got any money. One clever hack, one clever guy with a bad attitude on the computer, this stuff happens all the time. Look at what they do to hospitals when they hold hospital records ransom. Okay, the digital world is not safe. But anyway, that's not where I'm going here, because I have a path to salvation. I want everyone to note that I had a smirk on my face when I said that, because our spirit guides are here. And the age of Aquarius is going to be better because there's already abundance. Hey, all the oligarchs, all the billionaires are proving it. They have all the abundance. Okay. All right. So let me just check this page and see if I've covered everything here. All right. It irks me, but I want to say this too, because while this was going on during George W. Bush's administration, where, everyone lost their investments on the market, there was a crash, and then he said, yeah, now I want you to borrow. I want you to gamble on margin on the stock market and give that a try so that you can all have, the parallel of a 30-year debt, pay back your gambling loss on the stock market. That sounds like a good idea. So here I am. Okay, and then after he does that, he says, okay, and now I want to privatize Social Security. So here I am, a teacher in California, and I'm going like this because teachers in California are not entitled to Social Security. Well, first of all, we don't pay into it, okay, as teachers, but there are some teachers out there who actually worked in the private sector and paid into it. So these people, they worked 2 jobs, and they should be entitled to their 2 pensions that they're paying into. They're paying into it, okay? So I feel bad for those teachers Because when it comes to the end of their career, they have to choose. Do I take my STRS, my state teacher's retirement, or do I take Social Security? Because you don't get both. So it sounds like if a teacher in that kind of situation takes STRS, state teacher's retirement, from the state of California, okay, that means that all those years, 30 plus years that they paid into Social Security, that's free money. They gave it away. It was like an extra tax to the federal government. Okay. Doesn't sound fair. Doesn't sound fair. I feel like anyone who's paying into any kind of system where, again, you're paying into it, why shouldn't you be able to collect it later? Why shouldn't you be able to count on it later? But that law was set up on purpose, everybody, to create friction and make a waste of time in state houses and in Congress so that we all have something to argue about. But, it was aimed at teachers because as a collective, we don't support the people that would set up something like that. These are the same people that would set up more voting restrictions. Again, not the subject for today. So meanwhile, while George W. Bush is taking away Social Security, or aimed to, and it didn't happen. I mean, there was enough protest for our 9/11 president at that point, okay? So even though that didn't happen, at the same time, the governor of California, who I will gladly say is not an experienced politician or leader, okay, but certainly had friends in high places, okay? He was saying the same thing about California state teachers' retirement system. For some reason, he was like looking at it saying, you know what, these teachers are living high on the hog and, we're going to dismantle that. And all I can tell you is a big fight. And that particular governor did not win that fight. But again, that was like, I want to say that's like my primary game right there. I'm working hard. I'm a 20 plus year teacher. And I'm relieved that I'm not even set up with the federal system. That wasn't going to work out for me anyway. Wow, I got lucky somehow, right? But now the governor is trying to take away my state teacher's retirement that I paid into. He wants to privatize it. How come everybody thinks that teachers are living high on the hog? Anyway, do you do the same thing for police officers and firefighters? That we all get paid the same way. We all get paid the same way. All right, so those were scary times, but I'm happy to say for the moment that state teachers retirement system still solvent, never did go down the route that particular governor wanted, at the same time that President Bush was failing in his attempt to privatize Social Security. I'm glad those two gentlemen went 0 for 2 on their efforts back then. I think that's a good thing. Okay. You socialist, Breakaway Ray. Okay, now you can't have society with a little bit of socialism. You selfish, immature, junior high mentality person. Okay. So anyway, let me go back. Those people don't watch StarCard. Okay, hang on. Let me see what I got. So I covered just about everything, except that I want to give props to President Ronald Reagan. Okay. Another president I was never a big fan of. Like, it's funny. There was like a progression. Like President Reagan was president. I'm all, dude, President Reagan, this is not good at all. And then President George H.W. Bush becomes president. I'm all, former director of the CIA. This doesn't sound good. Wasn't that great? Okay. And then when George W. Bush became president, I'm all, oh man, I would give anything to have his daddy, George H.W. Bush, back in office. At least that guy understands what's going on. Okay. And upon reflection, I would love it if zombie Ronald Reagan crawled out of his grave in Simi Valley at the Ronald Reagan Library and marched down to the Oval Office and took care of business right now. Okay, we're not going to put up with this crap anymore. Okay, so what I wanted to mention was one of the things that Ronald Reagan is famous for is his quotation, trust but verify. Ronald Reagan used to say, trust but verify. This was in relation to, I believe it was called the SALT talks, these treaties about limiting our nuclear missiles as we were negotiating with the Soviet Union. So I just want to say regarding parent conferences, even though I shared this story a few days ago, trust but verify was like one of the things I almost always said. I can't believe Ronald Reagan is the president I quoted the most during my career. But I would always say, when I'm sitting there with a kid and the parent, I'm all trust but verify. Trust but verify. So like, when the parent says to the kid, did you do your homework? And the kid says yes. Then you say, okay, that's great. I would like to see it, please. I just want to check it over. And anyway, trust but verify. I trust you. I believe what you're saying. I just want to verify, right? Because let's get past this part so I could just trust you and we don't have to verify. As long as I know you got it, we're good. So anyway, successful parent conferences, unsuccessful terms in office for George W. Bush. Well, but what an ascendant master he was, Breakaway Ray. He created all these situations and challenges that now we get to overcome as a nation and a society. This elevates our consciousness and expands our soul as a country. See how it works, everybody? I'm going to transmute it right in front of you. All right, let me check my notes. Am I ready to go here? Am I throwing cards? Hang on. Okay, so I covered everything. But as I foreshadowed a few moments ago with the book by Barbara Marciniak, Bringers of the Dawn, back in 1992, the Pleiadians were telling her that society was going to change. And we hear this around the internet, how institutions are going to crumble. We could see them crumbling before our eyes. I would like to start with the State Department. The State Department. It was just hollowed out about how many years ago now? It had been about 10 years ago. It was like, do we have an oil executive as our Secretary of State? And then all our embassies around the world were like shut down. And when asked, the person in charge said, well, I'm your State Department. I'm in charge. Made me want to wish George W. Bush was back in office. So, but anyway, regarding those institutions, they're all going to crumble. They're all going to fall apart. So as much as I am holding on for dear life to my anticipated state teacher's retirement, which comes to me in a few years when I ripen to the correct old age, okay? I'm a couple years away. I have no income now. As much as I'm holding on to that and counting on that, it could very well be that all these things could be deleted, or there could be a new kind of control like they have in countries in Asia, where they're giving you credits for your civil behavior. They might decide, the AI says we need to rebalance the sheet. So, we have to take away this much money for everyone's automatic tax. It'd be like living in a townhome or condominium situation where there are assessments, right? You think you have money, you think you're in the clear, but here comes an assessment from the government and there's no discussion. They just delete it from your account. Or like I said before, what if there's a hack? Okay. I mean, our institutions, at least in the United States, as far as I can tell, they're all bankrupt. It's not like we have top-notch security. All the top-notch brainiacs are on the outside working for the best dollar. Where do you think that's coming from? Not from people with ethics, probably. Well, I can't wait till we have a society where people are behaving based on ethics and concepts presented in the Magna Carta and even in the Constitution of the United States. So let me make sure I've got it all covered here. Yeah, the institutions are all going to crumble. What do we do then? Well, those of us that recognize that we have spirit guides and spirit teams, that's the first place we're going to check. What difference does it make if you go to a website and leave a complaint and have some AI get back to you on it? Where's that going to get you? How many years are you going to go through that process? Okay. What if they got it wrong and you want to fight for your rights? Okay. Again, you're going to take up that process. You're really going to go to court and try to get something done. Is that how you want to spend your life? Okay. No, the obstacle is the new path. You're being redirected. And those of us, again, that can follow our intuition and can connect with our spirit guides or the spaceship that's ready to send down resources. Okay. You're going to be ahead of the game. So is that why I reflect upon myself? Is that why I've had the timeline I have? I had to have all this garbage dumped in my lap so I could show you, everybody, what to do with it. It's kind of like on the first day of school when I show kids how to cover their books with an old brown paper bag. Oh, those were the days. Have I got everything? Hang on. Not everything. Here's what I wrote. Yeah. So the economies that we have, it's arbitrary. It doesn't have to be this way. We could fix it. We could change it. But here's what I wrote here. It's all a contrived capitalist routine of skimming from the public. It's continuous. Okay. And everyone's going to get wiped out again and again until we make it stop. We've seen these fluctuations decade after decade. People get wiped out again and again. Just a few years ago, there was the home loan crisis. All of a sudden, they decided not only we're going to let certain people who help process loans get a commission rather than just perform a job and a service, they get a commission on the transaction. Okay. But also, we're going to let people take out loans that are variable and have high interest rates. And let's see what fun we'll have then. I mean, we have to trust these people who are financial experts to guide people to do things the correct way. Even they know that that's a bust boom thing. Okay, you feel like you got it now, but you know what? In a couple of months, when the Fed Reserve changed the interest rate, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's ask the tarot world what to do. So I want to talk about the social safety net, which is the things I talked about, like STRS, State Teachers Retirement here in California. That will be the one that I participate in. Social Security, which is our nationwide program for people who pay taxes into Social Security. Okay. Then we want to advance to what the new society is going to look like. There's not going to be a lot of jobs, right? AI and robotics are going to take over a lot of things. We've already seen it. It's happening live, right in your face. Some of you are grumbling as I say it. I don't blame you. Okay. There's not going to be a lot of jobs. Is that a blessing? Well, you have more free time. Isn't that good? Okay. You don't have to work so hard. It's fine if we're provided for, and if there's an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to enjoy abundance. Absolutely. We're in the transition phase. Okay. We got to get it started. We got to pull the rope on that lawnmower and get it started. But our children and grandchildren have bright prospects. Okay. We do have to consider things like growing your own food. I'd like to point out that my friend Rob Khalil at the Typical Skeptic podcast, you know, just from surveying with his eyeballs land around the United States, there's a lot of land. There's a lot of land. You know, in the past, people didn't expect a lot of transportation, right? I mean, it was hard. You had to have a car, you had to have gas stations out there, but now people can move around. But if you think about it back then, with limited modes of transportation, people are pretty much locked in to whatever town they lived in, right? And also there wasn't a lot of air travel, right? The airships and the Zeppelins were removed from society. Okay, so again, you have people in localized cities all crowded in, all dependent on the same food source and the same energy source. Okay, that's not diversifying at all. Okay, but that does help the controllers. They're all in one place. Are they trying to do that again? 15-minute cities. 15-minute cities. Is that the one you want to live in? Go learn about those. Okay, so there's lots of room to spread out. I agree with you, Rob. Okay, and to grow your own food, you don't even need that much space. You can grow food vertically. Believe it or not, with electroculture, you can grow food in a darkened basement. Get the copper wire antenna up on your roof, run the copper wire down to your basement, ground it into the pot. Bam, you're giving it the food it needs from the sun. You're collecting the sun's energy from electroculture. Okay. Another thing you have to do is you have to occupy your communities. And I want to tell you a story about a community. And I want to tell you what I like also, by the way. Let me back up one bit. So in the United States, there are two qualifications if you want to be president, if you want to run for president. There should be a lot more. One of them is you have to be born in the United States. One of them is you have to be at least 35 years old. Looking back, I think 35 is still kind of young. But I'm glad that there's some kind of floor. There's some kind of bottom, okay? You can't go below 35. Okay, I don't want some kid. I told my students this almost every year. I don't want some kid fresh out of college running for president, okay, who thinks that they understand life. Have they raised a family yet? Have they had a career yet? No. But at least when you're 35, I mean, I realize the rule was set up in the 1700s, but at least when you're 35, you've had the opportunity to be an adult, okay? and your brain has had a chance to grow, and you've had a chance to experience life. So that's like a good thing. I like that part. But anyway, there's this town. I couldn't tell you where it is. I believe it's up in the United States in the Midwest, like Minnesota, some area like that. Well, they had this rule about if you want to run for mayor, I guess it was a young age, 21, maybe 25, but let's just pretend it's 21, right? Let's just pretend, just go along with the story. So some young whippersnapper, 21. By the way, there's many young people of integrity who run for office as soon as they are old enough to do so. And I salute them and I congratulate them. And this is the story of one bad apple that kind of ruins it. But no, it turns out to be a blessing. Okay. So anyway, this one young person will go along with the idea that it's a man. Okay. This one young man, as soon as he was able, he became mayor, and the people that voted for him are all thinking, great, he's a young go-getter. He's saying the right things. I'm going to vote for him. And like anyone programmed by the Anunnaki, I'm very happy to have someone to tell me what to do. But anyway, this guy got into office and he started messing things up, and he was like closing the library, and he was making a mess of things. And it required all the other adult citizens in the town to, start attending city hall meetings and start, instigating votes where they would counter the policies that were going on. And then they even had some kind of recall to get that guy out of there. And they didn't just have a recall, they had a plan. They go, we don't need to just get this guy out of office. We need to have a plan to make sure that all the things that were going well in our society before keep on going, and that people with power can't like influence and mess it up. They occupied, in quotation marks, they occupied their own town. Okay. You're not going to be able to enjoy life and then just complain about stuff that you don't like. Okay. Everyone has to get involved. And in reality, that's what you want. That's what you want. Isn't that democracy in lots of ways? Isn't that very democratic? Isn't that very democratic? I'm going to throw this one out there. I know that people can shop for homes. They can buy a home online. Some homes cost like $1 million. And yet you could do a transaction online where you buy a house. You don't even have to show up and look at the house, and you're done. Okay. How come we can't get voting right? Why do we pretend there's so many problems with voting? That's not for me to tackle. Oh, but I got some ideas. Get off my lawn. Okay. So we have to adjust to being a new kind of human. I'm so sorry. My nose is itchy. I don't like touching my nose on the camera. Obviously, it doesn't look right. Time out. Anyway, something else that's going to happen as a new human is, well, you're going to learn about all your other personalities, your reincarnated lives. They're going to be like chiming in. You're going to learn about your spirit guides. Your intuition is actually going to speak to you. It's probably going to sing songs to you. Okay. You're going to be like just going through the process of folding laundry, and then you're going to be getting downloads. It's not the same society we grew up in the 1970s and the 1980s. Life was simple back then. You had an LP, you put it on the record player, and there were no interruptions. Okay, so we're going to invite the tarot world to comment on those things. And then, I know we're saving this up for last. Let's do some controlled time travel. All right, so first up, let's get the tarot world to comment on the social safety net. We did that a little bit with President John Quincy Adams a few months ago. Oh, I see capital letters in the chat, and I just want to say I see our friend Salama out there. Nice capital letters, Salama. We're going to get to the chat in a minute. Wow, I'm going longer than this is going to be one of my all-time long shows, huh? Okay, let's get going here, everybody. Not this again. Time out. Why is this happening today? Sorry, don't get dizzy. That's better. All right, let's first talk about the social safety net. Hey, do we have to worry about the social safety net? Is it going to be one of those things where we have to rely on institutions, or you could just say, forget about it. The institutions are not going to be helpful. Let's see what the tarot world has to say about the social safety net. All right, tarot world. So we've been talking about the social safety net. We're inviting you to communicate in a new way through the tarot cards. What's your opinion? How do you want to guide us? That was the Page of Swords. He's all about a new form of communication. Well, apparently the hard times are over. But anyway, let's try that again. That was not great. Okay, so hey, tarot world, we are commenting on the social safety net. Does it need to be reorganized? Does it need to be enhanced and augmented? Certainly, we need to pay attention to it. And it's not about just giving handouts. It's not about welfare and UBI. Both of those need to be amped up for a different kind of society. Okay, once the energy situation changes, and those are not bills that we have to pay, a lot of doors are going to open up, and there's a lot of metamorphoses about to take place. I'm still trying to shuffle. I really like these cards. Stand by, please. Social safety nets. Here you go, tarot world. We're ready to listen to you. Yeah. The Two of Swords says we're at a crossroads, and the Tower card says something's coming down. Wow, interesting. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm not trying to draw this out. Here we go, tarot world. Let us have it. What do you have to say about social safety nets? Let's just go right there. This guy popped out right away, right? We saw some good foreshadowing. Here we go. The Page of Pentacles being presented with a new opportunity, maybe a new opportunity to revamp or enhance or augment our social safety nets. And then we have this triptych. The Page of Swords. It's time for us to use new communication, but don't forget to follow the path of joy and fun. Okay, we're trying to lift vibrations on Earth. We have to remain joyful. We have to think of things that benefit everybody, and we're going to fly a kite so that all of our friends can see how much fun we're having. The Two of Pentacles, we will have to manage two systems for a while as we take what we got and what's already established and either fine-tune it or upgrade it. But in the end, yay, the whole world's going to be okay. It'll all be complete. All right, so that's confirmation that there's something that we can do, everybody. Okay. I mean, we just saw like a plot, the beginning, middle, and end on how it's going to go with the social safety net. And there's a promise at the end, which I put at the top, that everything's going to be groovy. So let the institutions fall where they may, says the Tower card. If it's garbage, it's got to fall away. And the Devil card says we got to let it go. All right. Thank you, Professor Tarot World. Next subject, please. Okay. Tarot World, addressing these subjects, the new society with, you're looking around and there's hardly any jobs. We're looking around, says the Hermit card. We do have to grow our own food. Electroculture has to be reintroduced. Permaculture has to be reintroduced. And we have to introduce a new style of participatory government. We have to occupy our communities, but resources have to be distributed fairly and appropriately. So does the wealth. And our minds have to be adjusted because we're integrating with our souls and our spirits more. Here we go. Thank you for commenting on our new society. Is there another one there? Here we go. Okay, all right. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm using my imagination to pretend someone's trying to talk to us about the things that we've been discussing. It's all confirmation basis entertainment only. Look at me disqualify myself. All right, first up, the new society. The Four of Wands says it's a homecoming. We should celebrate. This is a great, great situation. That does sound better. I'd rather not slave away for a boss or an institution. I'd love to stay at home with my family and develop my mind, pursue my soul's path. Sounds good to me, Breakaway Ray. So the Temperance card says, be cool everything's under control. The angels are holding our hands. And here's that Page of Pentacles again. Here comes a new opportunity. We see it at StarCard Podcast. We see the opportunity because you tuned in. And Breakaway Ray is talking to us about it and calling our attention to it. Think about the future. It's here right now. Breakaway Ray is telling the truth, says the King of Swords. All right. Thank you, Tarot World. I appreciate your vote of confidence. So really, he's saying that was a good setup. That's exactly right. Everyone's on the same page. All right, what's next? Yay! The Queen of Swords shows up, and she agrees with the Two of Pentacles card from before about how we're going to have to transition between the two systems, either transition from the old to a new or upgrade the old to a better one. So there's the Queen of Swords saying, yeah, you're right about that. That's coming. All right. And then the Knight of Cups says, here comes the knight in shining armor. You know, once we sort this thing out, it's going to feel like, yeah, let me come upstairs for this. I'm not going to turn off that light, but it's an incandescent light. It gets to stay on. All right. So I'm one of those people who's of the opinion that sometimes older employees are discriminated against by age. Isn't that a bummer? Like a lot of people in my generation, the end of their career is they got run out or chased out. Okay, that's not dignified. And then they got to harbor that emotion for the rest of their lives. I mean, the emotion part is bad enough. They were counting on finances and, you know, their careers were curtailed. So that's like a crummy feeling. I imagine that a lot of people feel. Well, the Knight of Cups here is saying, imagine having a different emotion where you really do have Social Security or your retirement or your pension pull through for you. What a relief. Remember how we talked about the abundance that my siblings and I felt when we got those savings bonds? That sense of abundance lasted for decades. Okay, imagine carrying that feeling for the rest of your life. If you're in my generation, you know, you're about to hit 60 and, you know, there's a good portion behind you. All right. Wouldn't that be a great feeling to march into the future with? By the way, that's the feeling that you have to have. This sounds really hard. We're the first generation that has to reset our minds like this. It's not going to be so hard for people to come after us, but we're the ones who are looking around and saying, this looks like, what is that called? Grand Theft Auto around here. Okay. And we're supposed to be positive when all this stuff is going on. Yeah. Okay. Because as the story goes, it's gonna change. Instead of feeling like Grand Theft Auto, it's gonna feel like I don't know. Are there video games where things are really happy? I'm not up on video games. Give me a moment to think about it. Oh, you know what I'm thinking about? Not the Powerpuff Girls, but the girls with the ponies. I'm thinking of the cartoons that my nieces used to watch. Hey, let's go back downstairs and go back to the view of the cards. I mean, all right. Yeah, the new society, being a new human, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a refreshing change. It's going to be an upgrade. Okay. It's going to be like moving into your own new house and all your finances under control. You're starting a brand new life. Okay. But we're going to be cool through the process. But lucky for us, we're ahead of the game. We see what's coming. We see this opportunity. And Breakaway Ray did a good job of outlining the situation for everyone. And in fact, he was right about how there's going to be a transition. But once that transition is made, it's going to feel like you have a knight in shining armor. The spirit guides are going to be delivering what you need for the rest of your life. And just having that sensation, that feeling of abundance and being provided for, that transforms everything. So the Page of Swords says, get out there and have fun, everybody. And the Four of Pentacles suggests that you need to be frugal. What? Look at this card's upside down. You know, we're turning it upside down. We're talking about don't worry about money. Don't worry about money. Okay. And the world is your oyster. And everything's going to be fine. Look at how happy the World card is. If she's going to feel complete, that's the main thing. Okay. So the last message again, did you see the way those cards just fell out, quote unquote, randomly? Okay. Okay. Get out there and have fun, everybody. Don't worry so much about finances. The world's going to be shining and happy and complete, and everything's going to be fine. Okay. Why would God abandon us? Hang on. Let me start that speech over again. That sermon. Why would God abandon us? Why would our spirit guides abandon us? Why would we choose to come down here for a sense of abandonment when there's so much around in the first place? Why would the space Nazis abandon me when they want me to complete a mission? That was a joke. Okay. Of course there's resources. Of course there's a plan. Okay. You have to believe in it. One of my affirmations is, and I was saying this before the show, please reveal to me the great magician's storehouse. I now use the field glasses of the spirit. That's from Florence Scoville Shin. Her video is linked at the very bottom of the description today. Okay. So you have to believe in it. You have to know that that's what you're aiming for. You have to have faith and confidence that whoever's out there is going to provide for you. All right. We're not done. It's going to be a long show. I know that there's some people out there who like it when I keep going on. Okay, well, I still want to do control time travel. The tarot world is hot. Let's keep going. All right. Lovely cards. That's all I can say. Very clever. Very clever. Very inspiring message. Thank you, tarot world. You're always pointing in the most positive direction. Right? That's what the tarot cards do. That's what they do for us. Okay, so we're going to throw some cards now, and we're going to talk about economic stability. Now, we know in economic stability, 10 of Pentacles, exactly. The tarot world is with us. So we all know from history what it was like in 1930 after the stock market crash. And it wasn't just a problem in the United States, it was a problem around the world. I like Teah Akrish's timeline about the secret space program. It's not linked today, I don't think, but you can find it over at St. Olga 69, where she talks about how the Great Depression was just a way to funnel money off world. But anyway, I'm going to give these another shuffle. We're going to ask the tarot world to tell us about, what did it look like in 1930 with guys jumping out of buildings, the Tower card, okay? And then what it looks like today. And if we understand the comparison, maybe we can get a gander, get a good look at what 2035 is going to look like. All right, we're going to give these a toss. Economic stability. All right, hey, tarot world. We're all ready to check out a couple of timelines. I'm sure they're all going to look great, especially the last one. But could you show us timelines, please, for these 3 years? Just so we have a model to compare. There's nothing wrong with accessing the future as well as the past. This is for this year. And now 2035. Okay, right after this, it'll be time for tarot for the audience, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I want to, for the sake of screenshots, I want to organize my table a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with 1930 up here. Let's see if these cards look like what we know about 1930. The Four of Wands is the homecoming card. Well, that could be just the stage setting of the run-up at the stock market in 1929. And then, oh, yay, there's the Tower card and people jumping out of the buildings, remember? Right? And look, yeah, the Empress, but she's upside down. Everyone's having hard times. The whole world is in turmoil. Yeah, there you go, 1930. But then what happened? Oh, Ace of Pentacles. Well, I guess if you buy in at the bottom of the market, it's okay. 1930. Interesting layout there, tarot world. Okay, let's check out this year, 2026. Is this what 2026 looks like? Let's see. Oh, I got some vibrations going on my hand. Wow. 2026, the big picture, says the King of Wands. Is it, whoa, the Judgment card. We're swapping out old for new. We were just talking about that for the last 2 hours, or last hour, excuse me. Yay. 2026, it's the new adventure card. It's the Fool card. Yay. And I'm so cheerful today. And it's the Knight of Wands who says, gallop on, charge forward, go for it. So we're seeing the big picture and how things are changing from the old to the new. It's all going to be a brand new adventure. Let's have fun at the amusement park. All right. I feel like those tell nice stories about those 2 years. I feel like I understand those timelines. Both kind of have happy endings. Okay. So let's take a look at what 2035 might look like. Well, the Hermit card shows up. We're turning inward because it's not just our life anymore. We're multidimensional. Ooh, there's going to be a lot of healing with the Three of Swords reversed. And, well, okay, they're not all reversed. Yeah, okay, here, let's try this again, everybody. There's a lot of pain. And we're going to be meditating upon it as much as you can imagine, says the Four of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Okay, whatever it is, I want to say it's like a good thing. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid, exposing the wounds so we can heal it. That's what I get from these 3 cards. We're going to turn inward as a collective, as a society, as a civilization. And we're going to meditate and heal our wounds as much as you can imagine. So it's not like, we're just going to get past the files about the guy with the island. We're going to like transmute all that energy, like I've been hinting at throughout the show. And we're going to like make our lives incredibly much, much, much more improved. Because it says as much as you can imagine. And then, you know what? We'll be like the Queen of Pentacles, the sensible parent. We'll have all parts of our body, our spiritual body, our emotional body, our intellectual body, and our physical body under control and managed. And our finances will also be taken care of, says the Queen of Pentacles. It'll be all practical. Hey, Tarot World, I really enjoyed those timelines. Thank you for instructing me and us. Anyone else who enjoyed those lessons. We sure appreciate the time and the instruction and the wisdom of all the masters who are sending us messages to give us another look at things, says the Hangman. I want to make sure I say it on camera, on video. I'm so grateful. I'm a lucky person to be able to connect with ascended masters and people of wisdom who are somehow organizing these cards. That's the King of Cups. So going to give it one more toss. That's right. It's a dream come true, says the Nine of Cups. There we go. Got it. It's time for tarot for the audience. Get ready to come upstairs. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, a little bit crowded over here at my tarot table. I got something I got to take care of first. Please stand by. All right, I have drawn the line. Although there's lots of writing in the chat, and I can't wait to read it after the show. Thank you very much for participating. I'm not going to read the chat now. I'm going to read it after the show. Okay, I am going to scan, especially for capital letters, so I can get some tarot requests. But anyone who enters the chat after the line, I'm sorry, it's a soft boundary for me. I'm sure I'll get to your reading. Like I say, it's a small group. I do have an appointment, but that's not for a couple of hours. I think we'll be okay. But again, it's just a soft boundary for me where I can choose to read for people who come in after the line if I'm able to, if I feel like it, if I'm in the groove. And everybody knows I like it, right? Everybody knows, like, if I could turn on the camera, I would. And if I don't turn on the camera, it means I'm doing something else, but I haven't given up any kind of mission. Look at what I've done. I got more than 200 videos at StarCard Podcast. I come out ritually like several times a week. And it's not just me blabbing on camera, right? I come prepared with notes and things that are worth talking about and thinking about, things that we like to examine and have another view on. And we're getting a lot of help from the tarot world. So, while I would love to hold everybody's hand every day, don't forget, we all have our own lives to fashion. And I have responsibilities also. So I can't always turn on the camera, even though I do enjoy it. I know I grow a lot just by throwing tarot cards on camera. What was I getting at? I think you got the message. Let's say hi to some people. All right. Hello, Safe Haven. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Judy, Mrs. NW5, and I see your, no cards. Okay, that also helps, by the way, right? Everybody, it saves time. If you don't want a reading and you just want to hang out in the chat, because we have nice people at StarCard Podcast, okay, capital letters, I'll see it right away. No, yield on tarot. No tarot for me. You're welcome. Thank you, Judy. Thanks for that help. Hi, Arwen. Good to see you. See. Kimberly Bamford. Hello, Kimberly. I know Lisa's here too. Hi, Lisa. All right, I'm still checking stuff out. Okay, missing time 420. Nishan, Jason, missing time 420. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Danny Hawk. Cool. Hello, Salama. I see your capital letters. All right. Hang on. Let's see who else is here. And I see Namira's here. Namira, you might be late, but I think I might be able to get you in, right? It makes me look like a big shot. I know the guy that runs StarCard Podcast. I'll talk to him. I'll slip him a 5. Okay. So I want to say, even though so before I before I get to the name tags, I realized I just had a one-sided conversation with viewers, particularly ones in the chat. So I believe that even though I pretend to get testy and cranky, okay, and I talk about things that seem unfair or whatever, I'm glad that people benefit from watching StarCard Podcast. I'm glad that either my illustrations or stories or my personal examples help them gain a better perspective. I do believe and realize that we have some kind of connection, but what I'm trying to say is when it's time to go out and play, we all need to go out and play. Rest is good. Play is good. What if school was run where you take out the recesses? That would lead to some pretty exhausted kids by lunchtime. But you know what? If they go out and play a little bit and then they come back, they're refreshed. Even their brain has grown. It's been oxygenated. Okay, and oxygen, I realize, is another thing that our friends in the Barbara Marciniak book emphasize and encourage. So go out and take a walk today, okay? All right, but I cannot promise the camera's going to come on all the time. Anyway, let's go back to the show. Let's get some name tags out. I got the name tags in here. And I really do appreciate the people who let me know that they appreciate the show. For sure. That's like applause. That makes me want to come back out on stage again. So thanks for your positive comments, everybody. All right. So I know that Judy's Valentine isn't here, but she didn't need a reading today. But I think Danny Hawk is in here. I think, unless she's yeah, there you are, Danny. Okay. All right. And I have shamrocks. I saw Nishan out there, right? There's Arwen. And Salama. I was griping the other day. I was pretending to gripe that I was in the classroom on the weekends, working for many hours, preparing. It turned out to be a good thing. This is one example. I had to spend a lot of time getting all these things cut out. And then all of a sudden I was out of the job, out of the workplace, and I had all these things. I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? Oh, that's like more time I wasted. Oh, there was a reason why I did it. All right. People have name tags now. Okay. So now I didn't know about StarCard Podcast back then. I didn't know about tarot cards. Okay, I got some schoolhouses and cats. Let's see who's in here. Well, hello. I just saw that Chris crochets a lot down in SD, and your cat just showed up in my hand. So I'm going to throw you in my pile. Right on. Are you a Padres fan? That's right, Kimberly Bamford. No such thing as coincidence. We knew your career was going to be destroyed and that you would need these for your next career. Okay. That's tongue-in-cheek, self-deprecating humor, everybody. I want to say the AI that summarizes this video is going to perfectly nail that on the head. Okay? I love that AI. Awesome summaries, AI. I want to throw tarot cards to the AI, but I'm already on an hour and a half. No more readings beyond the ones I just included, everybody. But let me get the schoolhouses out. There's Kimberly Bamford and Lisa. And Jason, missing time 420. And Namira. Jeez. A lot of readings. And Safe Haven. Oh, finally. You were the first one in. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll back through the chat and see if there were particular requests like Salama's. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with the flow. The tarot world knows what you want to talk about. Everything's going to be all right. Sun card. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go. Oh, Lisa has one also. All right, everybody. So I can see that Salama and Lisa have particular questions. So I'm going to start with those. And then I think what I'll do is I'll scroll down to the bottom and catch up with everybody in case there are particular foci people are concerned about. All right, so let me get these set up. We'll start with Salama. And I'm going to reread your message to myself so that I can have a clear image to share. And this deck is really good, so I'm going to stay with this. Angel's message and guidance with respect to working with humans. All the humans in Salama's world. Angels and guidance. Angel's message and guidance. What do the angels say? We're dealing with humans. What do the angels say? They see the network. It's broad and vast. You can't say it's tenuous. It's not going to disconnect. That is to say, I'm going to say it's established, it's meaningful. Anyway, let's see what happens. The angel's guidance, working with people around the world. For Salama. These cards are for Salama. I'm going to give it a try, Salama. I know we all know it's for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to use my imagination and see if there's a story here for you. The Ace of Wands, magic is in the air. the King of Cups and the Ten of Wands reversed. Could this mean that there's strong positive leadership who's going to take care of the burden or is going to intervene with some kind of magic? Now, I don't know if this is another human, okay, or this could just be the energy of a strong, thoughtful leader, maybe even like a spirit guide is going to help lighten the load. Oh, we're asking about angels. So what kind of magic do we work, angels, to lighten this load? We're working with humans. You're on a new adventure, right? I remember that part. You're just starting out a new adventure. It says Fool card, and we're asking about the angels' guidance. And right off the bat, we're all stay cool, be balanced. Okay, you're Indiana Jones. You're always going to find a way out. Okay, you're James Bond. You are nonplussed at everything. I hope I used that word correctly. Okay, great. Let's see how this helps out. We have the Justice card and the Hangman. It talks about cause and effect and taking a look at things in a different way. And also the Justice card and the Temperance card, the Justice card and the Temperance card both talk about balance, by the way. Okay. So we're going to see the way things balance out. The Wheel of Fortune talks about luck, good luck, bad luck. It's all luck. And that could mean that we have to see the way the bumper cars bump into each other and see how things play out. Or it could also indicate that there's a particular part of the timeline and it's time for something to happen. Have another look at how some causes reach to some effects. Have another look at what the rules and regulations are, because it's time. The Empress card and the Seven of Wands card tells me it's time for you not just to be the Empress, but to understand that you have the higher ground. And I think you do. And I think that's why you're asking the spirit world about it, because you do have the higher ground. You know, you are aware of your thoughts and your emotions, and you're aware of the dynamics outside. The dynamics in your inner world and your outer world. Okay, so you're in a lot of ways, in my opinion, ahead of the game. So what is the story? What is the angel's guidance for dealing with people, locally and globally? Well, there's magic in the air. There's an energy of a King of Cups, a empathic, natural, gifted leader with foresight who's ready to lighten the load on your new adventure. And that energy comes in the form of an angel who always encourages balance, because there's causes and effects. And if we look for positives, we're probably going to find them. And it's time for us to ascend to the throne as Empress, because we can address all of these challenges. I don't know if it's going to be a long road or a short road, Salama, but that's what I came up with. That's the story I got from these tarot cards. I bet the tarot world hit the nail on the head. And so I want to say thanks to the tarot world. Thanks for helping me talk to my friend Salama on another continent. All right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, tarot world. I bet that was like an extremely sophisticated and nuanced message too. Tarot world does not mess around. All right, next up, Lisa Talcott had a particular question. So let me go double check Lisa's deal. I'm backtracking. I'm looking for Lisa. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Is it beneficial for me to start taking the new? Yeah, okay, I got it. Stand by, please. I'm not even going to riff or talk about the subject, Lisa. But I am going to talk to the tarot world about it, says the moon card. So Lisa has a question. Is that particular direction beneficial? Is that a good idea? She's got a question about the direction. Is that a good idea? Should she follow that direction? Thanks for helping Lisa out. Well, the moon card popped out again. Let's see how the rest of these cards play out. The Emperor, you're in control. the Five of Pentacles, a sense of abandonment, versus, the King of Swords, which is here to say, this is the truth. Hey, Lisa, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not any kind of practitioner. I barely practice tarot, right? I barely practice anything. But the point is, the tarot cards suggest this story. Check your subconscious. You're in control. You're aware that it's either not a good idea, or you're aware that it's going to rescue you from this Five of Pentacles situation. And I guess you're asking, is it a yes or a no? My reading is, and this is, from my point of view, this is what I think, check your subconscious. You have a beautiful body that God gave you. Why do you need to augment it or alter it with chemicals? Think about it. Let's give you one more. Well, whatever your plan is, says the Two of Wands, whatever you were thinking of doing, okay, it's a good plan. The universe likes your plan. You should follow through with that plan. And if you were thinking, I am going to follow through with this plan because there's a good reason why this expert gave me this direction and this thing to help me, and I need to give it a chance. So now you just had both sides of the story, but you got your notebook and you wrote all this stuff down, so I'm sure you're going to figure it out. Good luck, Lisa. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm flattered and honored. People are asking me about decisions they're making in their life. I'm just some dude on the internet. Let me adjust my chat so I can see what's going on. You're welcome, Salama. Thank you very much for that feedback. Okay, let's see who's next on my tarot reading list. So Jason, missing time 420. Let's throw some cards for him so that he has sweet dreams. All right. Here we go, Jason. I'm throwing you a few cards. I'm thankful that you tuned in and even typed a message in the chat. These cards for Jason, missing time 420. He must be all tired from his travels. He got a little jet lag, maybe? Sweet. All that fresh air out in Hawaii. Cool. I hope you did not eat any poi. These cards for Jason. Come on, not that many. All right, one more for Jason, please. Jason, the Ace of Wands. Magic is in the air. You're in the hypnagogic state. Great time to make magic happen. The Four of Cups and the Fool. The Four of Cups says you're thinking about starting a new adventure. Or you're thinking, I've got deferred maintenance. I got to clean the gutters. The Wheel of Fortune. It's time to clean the gutters. The Two of Wands. The universe likes your plan. The universe wants you to follow through on your plan. You have the green light. You should go for it. Go clean those gutters. I don't know what your plan is, but you're very capable of making that magic happen. And whatever you evaluate and consider and meditate upon is a great place to start a new fortune. It's a great plan. Go for it. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that was fun. So, I mean, I try really hard with Salama. I know I'm like really into trying to encourage and share what I know, because she mentioned something about speaking to another person in the organization. So I'm going to just take another time out and just say, my point of view is honesty is the best policy. Honesty is the best policy. So if you're honest, even with yourself, even in a situation which is not honest, at least you get to walk away with your honesty and your integrity. Okay. By the way, if I was a boss or a supervisor and I knew that I could count on this person to give me an honest point of view every time, I'm going to value and treasure that. I'm going to be like President Lincoln or President Kennedy, who wanted people of different minds, but excellent in their fields, to give honest, appropriate information and help me make decisions. So I just want to say, stick to your guns, Salama. Okay, there's a reason why you have so much integrity. Show everyone how it works. All right. Way to go, Breakaway Ray. Used to be a school teacher. Kids must have loved you pumping them up all the time. All right, let's get a new deck. Hey, Safe Haven, let's throw some old style cards for you. These cards are for Safe Haven. Thanks for tuning in, Safe Haven. Oh, wow. This is going to be the longest show ever for StarCard so far to date. Anyway, so grateful. Well, I'm not really complaining, right? I mean, that's like saying, hey, my rock concert's going to be even longer today. I get to have a rock concert. People want to rock out. Let's see those lighters, everybody. Woo! Rock on. Hey, what's that thing I smell? All right, let's move on. It's not a Rick James concert. All right, Safe Haven, let's have some fun. Wow, I don't know if this is fun. It's the Death card. It's endings, beginnings, and transformations. Then the Page of Wands and the High Priestess. Not only are you cognizant of the spirit world, you're seeing all kinds of opportunities. You're going to bed at night saying, I would like to see this happen. Or even in the morning, you're having precognizant dreams. So there is a change, huh? You're becoming more, you're becoming psychically more expanded, perhaps. The Five of Pentacles talks about abandonment and feeling alone. You could feel isolated, like no one understands your point of view. Well, even in the Five of Pentacles picture, I just want to say those guys might have it rough, but they have each other. And the Queen of Cups, it's an image of the energy of someone who is becoming psychic. And that's kind of like the thing where, like, if you're a mom and your child is somewhere else out playing and your child falls down, you have a sensation that your child is injured. So now you can sense all kinds of things and you can share people's feelings. So you do have to work on your psychic defenses, your borders, your parameters. You need to learn how to turn it off. You need to learn how to cleanse and you need to learn how to ground. This is what the cards tell me, right? I'm not psychic, Safe Haven. I'm trying to make up a story here. So anyway, wow, have some queens. Nice. By the way, we talked about the darker side, the shadow side, protecting yourself with your magic gifts now, but check you out. You got the Queen of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. Now that you know what you're doing and you understand more of your power, you could be the Queen of Wands. Carpe diem. Be courageous, be determined, go for it, have fun, paint the town red, because look, Ten of Pentacles says you got long-term security. You are never going to have any kinds of problems as long as you stay lined up with your soul's path and your higher self. Good for you. Congratulations, Safe Haven. We want someone like you at StarCard Podcast to share that energy. Accomplished magicians and witches expanding their consciousness and not being afraid of getting burned at the stake. Way to go. Thank you for joining me. We're all in this together. Way to go, Tarot World. This is your team. I'm just third base coach. All right, let me give these a toss. Hey, Lisa, Rick James, right? I went to a couple of his shows with Tina Marie. I know we talked about Tina Marie before with Lady T. Lady T, she was the best, Tina Marie. Oh, you're welcome, Safe Haven. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see who's next. Namira. All right, Namira, let's go old style. One more time. And you're welcome, Lisa. Thank you very much for your feedback. Thank you, Kimberly, for always being so encouraging. Here comes cards for Namira. All right, Tarot World. It's a favorite. You're a familiar favorite. These cards are for Namira. Okay, sounds good to me. Here we go, Namira. Having fun. The Eight of Wands. It talks about flight. It talks about travel. It talks about something happening right away. Seven of Swords. Something's hidden or something's about to be revealed. The Death card. Ooh, an ending, a beginning, or a transformation. Wow. Yay. The Ten of Cups is a dream come true. You remember how I talked the other day about being appreciative for all kinds of miracles? Okay. Even if they seem like they're unending and they keep coming at you, be grateful for miracles, any miracles, and then stand up and cheer every time like there's 50 miracles in a row. So here comes, there's about to be an end or a transformation, okay, or a beginning, and it's going to be a dream come true, Namira. Wow. And there's the High Priestess. Well, let's read about the High Priestess then. The High Priestess, you have hidden mysteries. You have hidden mysteries, spiritual insight, and divine knowledge. Now is the time to be still so you can tune into your intuition. You have the opportunity to access the knowledge deep within your soul. You hold the answers to the deep unknowns. Let what is hidden come to the surface. Trust your inner instincts to guide you. And there's a promise of long-term security and domestic bliss with all that message. Right on, Namira. Yeah, right on, Namira. Thank you very much. Cool deal. Love it. I mean, that's real-time magic and real-time happening in Holland, in the Netherlands. Oh, I'm reading Lisa Talcott's message about going to a concert with Rick Springfield and Corey Hart. I'm sure you were wearing your sunglasses that night. Maybe you saw Jesse's girl there. I hear she's friends with Rick. Anyway, I'm going to give these a toss. Thank you, Terra World. I didn't see those guys in concert. I wanted to. I had a Rick Springfield record, the one. Let's throw for Kimberly now. Here we go, Kimberly. Let's go to the Ethereal Bloom deck. All right, these cards are for Kimberly Bamford. Let's give these a toss. All right, Tarot World. Here's a big fan, Kimberly Bamford. Can we have a fun, helpful message for her, please? Thank you very much. These are for Kimberly. Oh, great shuffle. I'll take that. These are for Kimberly. Okay, let's check it out, Kimberly. The Six of Cups. Happy memories. Ooh, here comes, I think it's a triptych, 3 of them. 5 of Swords. Win at all costs, even abuse. Queen of Wands. Being courageous and determined in the face of the 5 of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. Giving and receiving. So this feels like a situation where it's going to be unpleasant or distasteful, like voting in the election, but you just got to grin and bear it. And the 6 of Pentacles says you got to complete the exchange. Okay, I mean, you might as well do it and get it off your desk. The 7 of Wands. It sure can feel like a challenge, but I don't care. I'm going to go with this comparison again anyway. You know, at the front of the parade, there's a drum majorette. Is that what she is called? The young lady who carries the baton and twirls it around. Okay, well, the 7 of Wands says you overcome all challenges. Look at this girl. She's got 7 wands. She's twirling them all in the air. She didn't drop any of them. It's going to look like an overwhelming job. It's going to look like, but you're going to make it look beautiful and easy. When you look back on it, you're going to be all, we should see this highlight on ESPN. That was awesome how I handled that situation. Because I started off remembering all the good stuff and being grateful for all the things, that happened before I woke up today. Okay. So finally, The Five of Wands says, you know what? Just keep in mind that it's an orchestrated dance. Even in ballet, like the Five of Wands image here looks like a ballet dance with fairies. Okay. Even in ballet, they can represent arguments and disputes and disagreements, but it's all just orchestrated stuff. It's stuff we deal with here on surface planet Earth. So start with your happy memories and don't forget this, kid. And don't forget how competent and clever and committed you are as the Queen of Wands. You've overcome all these things before. It's just the way things are. All right, that's just for right now. We'll give you a different reading next time on Star Card Podcast. Thanks for inviting me to read, Kimberly. Okay, so I'm laughing now. You're welcome, Kimberly. That's right. I agree with your comment. I'm going to leave these out. I'm laughing because Danny Hawk put in lyrics to one of my favorite songs. My friend and I have like some inside jokes about that song, as you can imagine. So, hey, Danny, I'm going to throw some cards for you. Thanks for sending me the poem. I mean, as long as you're helping me feel good, as long as you're passing the duchy, I'm going to throw some cards for you. Here we go, Danny Hawk. The Tarot World has got a special spleef to share. Yeah, man, bring out that big blunt. Here we go. These cards be for Danny. These cards for Danny Hawk. Can I have one more for Danny, please? Thank you. All right. Danny Hawk, the Sun card. Yeah, man, everything's going to be all right. Every little thing going to be all right. All right. The Eight of Cups, walk away. Everything's going to be all right. Just walk away. How many times have I said that on the playground? Everything's going to be all right. Just walk away. Go take a breather. The Chariot, that's right. Just walk away. Keep going. The Nine of Swords. I mean, it says there's anxiety and maybe we're nervous or there's some kind of sleepless nights. But you're watching Breakaway Ray. I'm Italian American. I'm going to say, forget about it. The Sun card already said it's going to be all right. The Ten of Wands says that there's a lot of work to do. That always seems to be the case, right? But eventually we're going to sort it out where we're going to work smarter, not harder. And that's because the Seven of Wands says you're capable of figuring that challenge out. You can streamline your efforts and your energies. You're very cognizant of your hermetic sciences. You're ahead of the rest of us in lots of ways. So does it look like a lot of work? Yeah, but there's a great big reward. You get to take all those wands, you get to spin them in the air and make a show out of it. I hope that was a fun reading, Danny. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning. I appreciate your participation. Where did I put my deck? Here we go. Next up, Arwen. Here you go, Arwen. I did see Arwen out there, right? I think so. Anyway, Arwen, I'm going to throw some cards for you. The Tarot World wants you to see this message. There you are, Arwen. Yay, there's your shamrock. And thank you for your message there, Danny. Cool deal. Have a good one. See, what I always like, I try, hang on a second. You guys want to see this. Oh, I'm always qualifying and discrediting digital relationships. My viewers aren't real. Look at me. Look at how much fun I'm having. I'm smiling and laughing and having a good time. Come on, Breakaway Ray. We've got friends out there. All right. And these cards are for my friend Arwen. That's right. The one who puts the cartoon emojis in the chat. That's my friend. The Sun card. Everything's going to be all right. These cards are for Arwen. Go for it, Tarot World. right? We're just playing a song, and now the tarot world steps up for a guitar solo for Arwen. Crank up the wah-wah pedal, tarot world. These cards are for Arwen. This card wants to pop out with that one. These cards are for Arwen. Can I have one more draw for Arwen, please? All right, here I go. Arwen, it starts off with the 9 of Pentacles. Time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You worked hard at this. Strength, exclamation point. You really need to go for it. You've got some accumulated energy, and now it's time to set it loose. Justice. Yo, it's the right thing to do, Arwen. 4 of Pentacles. This talks about being frugal and managing your energies. But there's a reason why you saved up. There's a reason why you saved up for that bicycle. Now you can go to the nickel and dime store and purchase that bicycle. But that, I mean, I'm not thinking about money. I'm thinking like you saved up energy. You accumulated knowledge. You developed a passion. You pursued a craft. Okay. Now you really need to go for it. Are you a painter? Have a showing. Have you been drawing pictures? Are you an illustrator? Share your book with somebody. Learn how to do digital cartoons and work with an AI. Anyway, let's keep going. Yay. So, hey, Arwen, this kind of goes along with it. The Empress, she's a complete person. She controls her corner of the planet. And the Page of Swords says there's a new way of communicating. And the Page of Swords kid looks like someone coming downstairs on Christmas morning, ready to unwrap some gifts. So, wow, you're totally getting like a green light to go for it and follow your passion, whatever it is. It's time to go on that media fast, Arwen. All right. No need to keep watching reruns. Go after that craft. Wake up early instead while your mind is fresh and go for it. Thank you, Tarot World. I hope the message meant something. I enjoyed sharing it. Thank you, Tarot World. Thank you, Arwen. I really appreciate your support. All right. Okay, I've got 2 readings left. I got Nishan, and then I got my buddy from San Diego, and that's going to be it. Thank you, Arwen. It's great having you here. Hey, Nishan, we're going to stay with the Ethereal Bloom deck here and throw you a couple of blackjack hands. We're going to split them. All right, 2 of Pentacles. We're going to split them. These cards are for Nishan. Let's get it on with Nishan. All right, Tarot World. I mean, they've been great encores, but the show's got to end soon sometime. And the Tarot World responded, yeah, but you're going to turn on the camera again, right? We got to do another 2-hour show. All right, you guys are so enthusiastic. Okay, who's going to fold my laundry? All right. Here we go. These cards are for Nishan. Thank you, Tarot World. We're just having fun, and yeah, that's all we need to do is have fun. It was a lot of fun today. You even got to complain about George W. Bush. That's like a dream come true. All right, Nishan, the King of Swords and the King of Cups together? Yeah, dude. They're so awesome. The King of Swords says, here's the real deal. Here's the real truth. You're the King of Cups. You're a natural leader. People want to be around you. You have charisma. Yeah, and you're not only do you look like you have your act together, you have your act together. That's why you always win. So, Nishan, the 6 of Swords, check out this cool message. The 6 of Swords and the Emperor card. On the one hand, the Emperor card says you're in control, but the 6 of Swords says, on the other hand, you're being guided from rougher waters to calmer waters by a divine hand. So it sounds like you and your spirit team are walking hand in hand. You and your higher self are totally together on whatever your path is. I mean, it must be a pretty positive path, a very high timeline. You can't get much higher than the king. Sweet, Nishan. Again, thank you very much for joining in the party here. Only witches and wizards allowed. Right on. And finally, San Diego. Here we go. Chris crochets a lot. There's a, nope, not going to do it. Going to leave that one off to another day, another reference. Going to just keep quiet for right now. Hey, here we go. Chris crochets a lot. The Ace of Wands and the Fool card. There's magic in the air. We're about to start a new adventure. Let's shuffle some cards for you. Here comes the Tarot World's finale. Ooh, we just passed 2 hours on the dot. Okay, long show, Breakaway Ray. But 3 of Pentacles, we were all working together on this. King of Swords, that's right. We're busy passing out the truth. These cards are for Chris crochets a lot. I hope everyone has a great day today. We're almost done here. Okay, and you know what? Chris crochets a lot. I'm going to throw a couple of cards for San Diego right there. So these are for you. And this is for San Diego. Oh, man, I love San Diego. All right, here we go. The Page of Wands. Unlimited potential. We could see into the sky, and there's an announcement that there's magic coming. It's like a meteor just streaked through the sky, and we can make a wish. The Hierophant represents learning. Is there like knowledge streaking across your computer screen that's educating and enlightening you, giving you epiphanies? The Three of Pentacles says that's because you're becoming more and more in tune with your higher self. So Chris crochets a lot. You should envision yourself as a psychic like the Queen of Cups. You're already very empathic and caring, and you have command and stature and poise. And the Two of Wands recognizes that you're recognizing this. And let me try that one again. The tarot world recognizes that you recognize this, your blossoming powers. They like your plan. They like what you want to do with it. They like your intention. Okay. So you should keep on going. I hope that was meaningful. I sure do appreciate you sharing your energy with the group today. This is for San Diego. San Diego, you're in control, San Diego. You're in control of the whole world, San Diego. 5 of Pentacles, what? Oh, a sense of abandonment. Well, hang on a second. All right. City of San Diego. You know, it's a big military, a big naval area down in the city of San Diego, where people from all over the world, including our fighting men and women, visit San Diego. They might feel, as military people, big military town, you know, that they're far away from home. Look at the lady in the 5 of Pentacles. You know, she's looking off at the planets where she used to live. Okay. She's in a new place. Okay. But San Diego has the power to make them feel like they're at home, no matter who's visiting. All right. Hey, Breakaway Ray, what did you practice today? I practiced having a positive attitude and coming up with positive ideas and scenarios. And I had a good time. I want to thank everyone in the chat who invited me to read. Hey, everybody, you made my day. Now get out there and make your own day. My name is Breakaway Ray. I'll see you next time on StarCard Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. You guys are awesome. Rock on. Woo, yeah.